The Speaker, please recognize Representative West to present House Bill 2272.
Clerk will read.
House Bill 2272 by West Josh of the House and Murdoch of the Senate, an act relating to medical marijuana.
Representative Fittgatter, you're recognized. Representative West, you're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, House Bill 2272 put a cap on commercial medical marijuana licenses on 1 September 2021.
Representative Fittgatter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like for a motion to suspend House Rule 8.8 for an untimely amendment.
Members, you've heard the motion by Representative Fittgatter to suspend the House rules. The clerk will activate the machine for recorded vote. Declare the vote.
72 aye, 0 nay.
Having received 2/3 of the vote, I declare the motion to suspend House Rule to have passed.
Madam Speaker, I move to amend House Bill 2272, page 2, section 2, line 11, amendment submitted by Fittgatter.
Representative Fittgatter, you're recognized to explain your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, Representative West and I have been working on this together. I realize that it's very popular to look at capping marijuana businesses in light of all the issues going on, especially in rural Oklahoma. However, Leader Eccles and I have been working with OMMA trying to ramp them up on this enforcement issue, which is the true solution, and the cap, in my opinion, will probably not affect it. So Representative West and I have agreed to a 2-year sunset, look back to see how well OMMA is doing at that time as a legislative body. Move to adopt. Yield to questions.
Representative Fittgatter requests unanimous consent that the amendment be adopted. Without objection, that will be the order. Representative West, you're recognized. We're back on the bill as amended.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Like I said, it caps the commercial licenses moving forward on 1 September. Now you have for questions.
Representative Brewer, you're recognized for a question on the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My quick question is, don't you think this is a little bit soon to be putting a cap on an industry that's really very brand new in our state, and we really haven't had a chance to see it grow and stabilize?
Thank you for the question, Representative. I think that we do have a thriving medical marijuana industry in the state of Oklahoma. At the same time, we've got a thriving black market industry in the state of Oklahoma, too. So this may not stop it completely, but I think this slows it down. And so it is new, but we've got more licenses in the state of Oklahoma than most states combined. So.
Representative Caldwell Trey, you're recognized for a question on the bill.
I'm going to send them down to you, brother.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Author, me and you've talked in length on this bill and on this issue. Do you think this bill overall, if it goes into effect with a 2-year sunset, do you think that will make it harder or essentially make it more difficult for someone that is wanting to start in this new industry, this new agriculture industry?
I think we're looking at capping it for a reason. I think that if you look at it, if it does go into effect between now and 1 September, right now currently we have, as of 7 February, we had 10,250 commercial licenses in the state of Oklahoma. That'll probably double by then. And so with some of the legislation that the representative from Okmulgee passed, with the ability to transfer licenses, things like that, these people will be able to sell their businesses. And so, will this work? I don't know. I think it's a way to slow down the black market.
You're recognized for a follow-up.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So with this bill, there are mechanisms in there that if someone did want to start a new business, that they would still some way, shape, or form be able to obtain a license?
Well, they can purchase another existing business. They also, within the bill, if it drops below a certain number of licenses, so on the grower side, if it drops below 5,000, currently we have 6,700, I believe, but if it drops below 5,000, or actually 4,900, it would open it up for a lottery, and so there would be ways for people to get in. It wouldn't be like it is now, but there would be ways for people to get into business.
Representative Bennett, you're recognized for a question on the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative, I asked a couple questions in committee, and I do appreciate you giving me time and explaining it to me, and the black market thing makes sense. But OMMA just sent out an advisement that for cardholders, for patient cardholders, they've got a 30-day extension because OMMA is already so backed up. And we've talked about this, but my concern is if this passes, people who are interested in the medical marijuana market might rush to get licenses. And do you share that concern?
I think that we'll see an increase in license between now and September. I don't know if it's going to cause issues or OMA is going to have issues with. OMA has issues with it itself. That's why we're in year 3 and they haven't done anything to combat this. And you can go talk to OMA, you can talk to OSBI, the Bureau of Narcotics, FBI, any local or county law enforcement mechanism, and they will tell you that we have cartel, we have Sam Gore, which is the company. It's a crime ring from China, MS-13, and everyone in between in the state of Oklahoma now operating with these licenses.
You're recognized for a follow-up.
Thank you. I believe that. I believe all of that is a problem. Seed to sale is coming online, and my understanding of seed to sale is that will make a lot of that very difficult because anybody operating under a license will be checked. And I mean, I'm very impressed with what the system promises. So do you think it's smart to do this now or wait and see if seed to sale might weed some of them out? No pun intended.
I think the combination of the two will help. Seed to sell, we passed that legislation 2 years ago. We're still waiting for it to come on board. And so with the OMA, the way that it's, the point we're at right now, they have not done their job, so it forces us. We can't forget that was a statutory state question that was passed. It's our job to legislate it, and sometimes it's not very fun, but it is medicine. And so the whole free market conversation, this is still medicine. And so I think we have to treat it that way. And so, I think the seed to sell and this right here will help combat the black market industry.
I'm going to recognize you for one more follow-up and ask you back in the queue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is my last question. I appreciate the amendment. I think that will quell a lot of concerns. Do you think that if after 2 years with this cap, the market has stabilized, do you see a further need for the cap, or are you looking forward to maybe lifting that cap permanently?
Well, that's why I agreed with the representative from Okmulgee to put the amendment on there. I'm certainly will sit down with whoever else. I mean, I've been on that committee since 2018 when it passed on the ballot. I think it's something we'll discuss, and I have no problem sitting down and looking at this bill and anything else that has to do with medical marijuana and see if we need to lift it.
Representative Fettgatter, you're recognized for a question on the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative, would you agree that we passed legislation, and to your point earlier in this conversation, earlier in this session, that allows the transferability of a business license for a fee of $500 from one entity to another?
Yes.
You're recognized for a follow-up.
Representative, are you aware that it's estimated of the 10,000 plus licenses out there, business licenses right now, probably 3,000 to 4,000 of those are not actively being used at this time?
I don't know how much, because the OMA has not put together the report that they're supposed to show the inactive licenses. But to that point, if there is inactive licenses, if someone purchases a license and they don't use it for 18 months, it goes away. And so the question I got, you're going to leave it wide open for the people with money and the big businesses to come in and buy all these licenses. Well, they can buy the licenses between now and September. If they don't use them between, in a year and a half, then it goes away. And so that's part of the issue too. Thank you, Representative McIntyre. So yes.
Representative Cornwell, you're recognized for a question on the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative, would you not agree for any member that is in here that's had any complaints about marijuana business, even though that we have ran some very good legislation in the last couple of days that's going to help regulate and put the personnel in place to watch over this business, that this is one piece of legislation that you're running here that our constituents are going to understand that we're putting a cap on this until we get personnel and enforcement in place. Would you not agree with that?
I would agree, Representative.
Representative Sean Roberts, you're recognized for a question on the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative, what's to prevent the cartel from buying up and transferring other licenses once it's passed? Is there anything to prevent that?
Well, that's what the inactive was for. A lot of times the cartel will buy a bunch of licenses and they'll set on them. Once they get in trouble with law enforcement or they feel that law enforcement on them, they'll just transfer license to license to license without ever the intent to open up a business. And so when I had a grower from your district reached out to me about a month ago and just asked what was my intent with this legislation. I talked about the black market. I talked about the calls that I'm getting. He said, you know what, I'm 65 years old, I'm semi-retired, I'm doing this to just supplement my retirement, and I run with a whole group of other guys like me that's what we're trying to do. He said, to your point, I got a call 2 weeks ago from a person that was out of state, it was a foreign person that said, I'll give you $300,000 a year to keep your license in your name and let me run it. And so we're never going to truly stop the black market, but I think this slows it down in conjunction with some of the stuff that Representative Fettgatter and Representative Eccles has ran.
You're recognized for one more follow-up.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Why not just to let the free market work and enforce it like with some of the other bills with having ABLE or someone else go after the people who are breaking the law?
Because like I said earlier, this was a statutory state question. It was passed as medicinal marijuana. The free market, it's all good, but this is still an Oklahoma thing. We've become an importer of a bunch of junk that didn't pass other states, that didn't pass their testing. So they bring it in, they wash it with Oklahoma product, and now we're an exporter. I would say go talk to the Bureau of Narcotics. That's what I've been working with and talking to, for several months on this, and they can give you up-to-date information on the actual the crime rings we have in the state.
Representative West now moves House Bill 2272 be advanced from general order. Without objection, that will be the order. Third reading of the bill.
House Bill 2272 by West Josh of the House and Murdoch of the Senate, an act relating to medical marijuana.
Representative West now moves final passage of the bill. Will there be debate? Seeing no debate, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? The clerk will activate the machine. Sergeants announce roll. Representative Kennedy votes aye. Representative Ford votes aye. Representative Nichols votes nay. Representative Carol Bush votes aye. Representative Kennedy votes aye. Declare the vote.
60 aye, 34 nay.
Having received a majority vote of those elected to and constituting the House, I declare the bill to have passed. Announce roll call in the halls. Roll call is now in progress. Representative Kennedy votes aye. You tell me when to lock it. Declare the vote.
69 aye, 21 nay.
Having received a 2/3 vote of those elected to and constituted
We are now ready for announcements and introductions.
Representative Dills, you're recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, the Majority Caucus will meet in the House Lounge upon adjournment.
Mr. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that when the clerk's desk is clear, the House stand adjourned until Thursday, March 10th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m.
Members, you've heard the motion to adjourn until Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Without objection, that will be the order. The House of Representatives will stand adjourned until 9:30 a.m. Thursday morning.